Mr. Mayor, I'd like to make a motion to approve resolution number 22034, approving a selection of art pieces for the 2022 Art Currents program and authorizing the execution of the art display agreements with the exception of the artwork called Solidarity.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Dan?
Mr. Mayor, so we got a lot of email about this as well. And there were several emails that I received where they were in unquestionable support of this art piece. And they said that it would really belong in Coeur d'Alene because they view Coeur d'Alene as a welcoming community. And I was reminded by something that Gandhi said. And Gandhi's one of the individuals I admire greatly. Gandhi said, "You cannot shake hands with a clenched fist."
Is that it?
That's it.
Kiki?
I just have a few things that I just wanted to make a note of. One is that I think that it's very interesting, and I'm very appreciative that even amongst this group of people, they all had different views of why they didn't like it or did like it, and that's what art does. Very heated conversations. I get disappointed with the disrespectfulness and all of that, but I understand that everyone's very passionate about art and how that works. I wanted to make a note that I think Councilmember Gookin and myself are both in alliance with Dr. Loeffler in that we'd like to see funding move into some of the other arts, the performing arts, and some of those other things. So I appreciate those comments being made, and this gives us an opportunity to kind of feel like the citizens are aligned with some of the discussions we've had. I wanted to note that I had looked up earlier some of the definitions of what this clenched fist mean, and although the definition from Wikipedia was read out loud, the last sentence of it wasn't included, which said it's also used to express unity, strength, or resistance. And then National Geographic calls it a human rights salute. Mandela and his wife used it as a symbol of their struggle against apartheid. And there's just, the BBC calls it a signifier of individual and collective defiance globally. So there's just a lot of definitions and a lot of way you could view a piece of art like this. I heard there was a video made or something. I didn't see all of that. So I try to get a feel for whether did this group collectively all see the video and become like-minded because of that. So those are some of the thoughts that are running through my mind about this. Art is often controversial. It's one of the things that spurs us on to have discussions about the different perspectives of it. But what I really boiled it down to is there's a lot of divisiveness in this community, and my big question is it worth it? So those are my comments.
Yes.
Well, I agree with what Kiki just said, and actually what all my fellow council members have said. I do want to take a minute, though, to acknowledge the work of the committee and the Arts Commission. I know their values. I know their commitment to our community. This is a group of educated, passionate individuals who are truly working to pick pieces for the community to enjoy. I believe that they were following the artist's intent of creating a symbol of solidarity. Now, we've heard from you tonight, we've heard from others, that that's not seen in an equal light, right? We all have different perspective on this piece. I also know that the Arts Commission and the subcommittee would not want to bring in a piece that caused future divisiveness. So I'm comfortable supporting this motion.
Dan?
Well, just again, I certainly wouldn't support that piece because I in any way think it somehow represents, a communist symbol. Now, could have been in the past, sure. Can people see it that way? Sure. Just like I really, really respect our flag, but one of the things I really dislike, and I think is one of the most disrespectful things I see every day is pickups with big old giant American flags hanging out the back. Now, if they were there, and it was done in a respectful way, that's one thing. But they run them around until they're ragtag, dirty, all kinds of weather, and that is the last sign of respect. So, but at the same time, I believe that those people think that they're being respectful to it. They obviously haven't read basic flag etiquette, but I believe that that's that. But, I'm not going to vote to remove this one. I might be the only one, and it's certainly not because I think that's a communist symbol or something, but I know my two veterans would support it. Anyway, that's all. Thanks.
Mr. Mayor.
Christie?
Well, I think we have had the discussion that we don't want to be in the position of censorship. It's a terrible feeling. So we're trying to find our way here, and I don't know if there would be room in your motion for a consideration by the Arts Commission of a private exhibit somewhere, so that we're not censoring. Doesn't need to be public art. People who want to see it could see it. Again, I don't think you want your government telling you what to read, what to look at, what to listen to. We need to be sensitive to how this affects you. But I don't know that that's the role you should have your government take.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was just going to say, as a writer, of course, I'm going to be totally against any form of censorship. This is a process, and to call making a decision censorship means that it would effectively restrict us from ever voting against anything. No, it's just a decision, and the decision is the piece is controversial. We recognize that. We're not inhibiting the artist from selling the piece here. He still can do that. He can go to any private gallery and put the piece up. But I think there is a sensitivity here that the mayor mentioned and others have mentioned that that's why we have a public process and why some pieces may not come forward. I mean, it could not come forward just for the reason that it could be butt ugly. I mean, we could say that too. I served on some of these art committees, and I agree with Amy. I mean, sign up for them. Some of them, it's really eye-opening to see the process and how this works and the different opinions offered. And it's all just opinions. But when you have something like this that touches a sensitive area, like the one lady mentioned early on, we wouldn't have a picture of the Nazi salute or a statue of that. Unless it was part of a collection and had a narrative and a history behind it. This doesn't. I think it's a trigger piece. I think that's why it was selected. And I don't want to put it in the community because I don't think it's welcoming. That would be, my thing. Not censoring an artist, just saying it's not what I would consider part of our public art collection.
I'm going to ask the clerk to take the roll, please.
Mr. Mayor,
Yes.
you guys have been running now. I got just a couple quickies.
Oh, I'm sorry.
That's okay.
I didn't
I'm out
realize you
here on
still
the
wanted
edge here.
something.
So
You got to raise your hand a little higher.
Sorry. I'm thinking back about 2000 when the first feathers went on Northwest Boulevard. That was our big art thing, and boy, it was a big screamer, as I recall. I think I was on planning and zoning at that time. And then I had a hard time trying to wrap my head around feathers. I mean, I liked them, they were pretty, but art and feathers, that didn't jive with me. I've been struggling with art for the last 20 years, trying to understand what it does, what it's supposed to do, are we right, are we wrong? And I remember somebody giving me advice going, well, art is sort of in the eyes of the beholder, and if they're talking about it, they like it or don't like it, it creates the conversation. So I thought, well, that's a pretty safe place to be, right, for somebody like me. Tonight, I heard words I haven't heard, or maybe I choose not to hear them, the disrespect and divisiveness and it just division in our community. I guess it's been going on and I live in a happy place or something, but I think we're on the right track to you know, that doesn't fit the model here. It just doesn't. Why would we want to stir the pot if we didn't have to? And I agree with you, Dan. You kind of put it in a perspective where we're not doing what's the symbols of censorship and things like that. That's not what I believe the art is all about. Even though we've had some weird stuff, don't kid me. But I think it's weird and somebody else likes it, you know. So I'm going to support this without the doodah hand thing.
I've got to make one more comment. Whoever put the thing on the website that showed my picture and that the mayor was going to decide this, first of all, the mayor doesn't decide this, but secondly, you know, I have to look at my mug every morning to shave. Please don't put that on the website. It's sad enough when you get it this old and you have to look at it anyway. Clerk, take the roll, please.
Gookin.
Yes.
English.
No.
Wood.
Yes.
Evans.
Yes.
Miller.
Aye.
McEvers.
Yes.
Motion carries. We'll move on to